Jeannie from Trendy and today I'm going to show you how to make this beach wreath. All the supplies came from Trendy and I'll post that list. It's a very easy method to do. We use the curl technique on a 24-inch work wreath and just some embellishments that we have there in stock, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Let's get started. Today we're going to start out using this poly jute mesh. It has a poly background, but it has a jute thread, and this is a natural with a kind of a denim blue in the 10-inch width. And for our focal piece, I've chosen these fish. I'm not sure which one we'll use. We sell them as a set on Trendy, and one is a little bit longer and the other one is fatter, so we'll just decide which one we're going to use. I've chosen several types of greenery. I'm not sure exactly which ones we'll use, but I've brought several just so we'd have some choices. Seagrass and different colors, and we have these raz yarn ornaments, okay? And then we're going to use a burlap work wreath. This is just your plain burlap work wreath, 24-inch. The first thing we're going to do is cut 10-inch pieces of our mesh. We're going to cut 10-inch lengths of mesh. It's already 10 inches wide, so we're going to cut pieces 10 inches in length. And we'll probably use the ruffle, not the ruffle technique, but the curl technique. We haven't done that in a while, so I think that we'll do the curl technique, and we'll place a cluster of 3 curls in each twist. We're also going to experiment with this product, this Elmer's Craft Bond Spray Adhesive. Mesh ravels, all of it ravels. The wide weave material is just ravels. So we're going to try spraying that on our cut edges, but we're going to spray our wreath after we finish. So the way we're going to make our ribbon cluster is just let the mesh curl up in its natural position, and then we're just going to roll that up into a piece like that. And then we're going to create 3 of those rolls. We're just going to kind of lay them, hold them in my hand like that till I'm ready to put all 3 on the wreath. It tangles, see? And I'm going to, when I secure the wreath, when I secure the cluster of curls in the wreath, I'm going to be sure that I have my cut side down. I'm going to take the work wreath, and we're just going to start on the outside, open up a twist, pinch those 3 curls in the center like that, put it in that twist, and we're just going to close that twist with about 2 turns right now, because we're going to come back and add in some ribbons. But we're just going to go all the way around the outer wreath, the outer ring. There's about 18 twists on each wreath, and we're going to put 3 clusters of curls in each twist. There's our wreath after we've gone all the way around the outer ring with 3 curls in each twist. Now we're going to move to the inner ring and continue with 3 curls in each twist. There's our wreath after we've gone all the way around both rings with a cluster of 3 curls. Now next we're going to use this Elmer's spray adhesive and just spray these cut edges and see if we can help reduce that raveling. When I spray that, I'm going to kind of separate those curls so that they don't stick together. Try to keep them from sticking together. Okay, now I'm going to take it outside and finish spraying. Now spraying your curls is a little bit messy, but once you get them sprayed, of course it gets all over your hands, but just kind of separate your curls out so that they don't stick together. You may have to do this more than one time. And you may have to kind of re-roll your curl too. And we're just going to leave that to dry. Our wreath is dry now, and the next thing I want to do is just kind of experiment with our embellishments. We'll try this little fat fish, or maybe this more slender fish. Or we might just try sort of, I think I'll try the fat fish. Kind of put him in the center. And we've got several different styles of greenery, and I think I'll try those at the top. This will just give us an idea of how this might look. And I like to take the sprays and sort of use them in like a cluster of sprays versus putting, 1, 2, 3, 4, around the wreath or anything. But you can do those any way that you want to. Here's another spray that's a little different. And then we've got these balls. And like I say, this is just to give us an idea of how we're going to place things. Maybe something like that. Okay? But the next thing we're going to do is experiment with our ribbon. I think I'm going to start out with these ribbons. It's a 2.5 inch. These are both 2.5 inch, and this one is 1.5. And I'm going to cut some ribbon strips, but the first thing I'm going to do is take some scrap ribbon and do a test strip. It's always a good idea to test your ribbon first before you start cutting on your good ribbon. I cut this piece 12 inches and just folded it together, folded it again, and then cut on the folded edge to make the chevron ends. And just pinch that in the center, open a twist, and lay the ribbon strip down on top of the curls, and then twist back. I think 12 inches will be just about right. I just cut a few ribbons to get started. I don't like to cut all my ribbon up because sometimes I may change my mind about the pattern that I want to use. But I want to show you again how to cut that chevron. You take your ribbon, fold it together, and then fold it again, and then you cut away from your cut on the folded edge, and then you have your dovetail or a chevron end on each piece. But you do that for all of your ribbons. Gives them a nice finished look. Now you can add your ribbon strips in any number of ways. You can use as much ribbon or little ribbon as you like. Just one of the easiest ways to do it is to do ribbon strips. And what I like to do is take the wider ribbon and put a narrow ribbon on top, and maybe just do 2 ribbons together like that. The main thing about attaching your ribbon is that you open up that twist and lay the ribbon down and then twist it back. Now I'm not quite sure if I'm going to stick with this pattern, so I'm not going to give it but a couple of twists right now. When I'm adding in my final layer though, I would twist it 3 or 4 times. I always start out with a pattern in mind and wind up changing. But this is a really nice ribbon. It has a nice texture, that canvas. And if instead of strips you'd rather do loops, you can always do that. Just make sure that you have your ribbon your right side up. can always start out with your ribbon strips and then go back and add more layers if you like, or even add another ribbon. I have another ribbon that we may want to add in just to give it some more of a neutral color. So we might add in some of this. I am going to add in some of this ribbon. This is very thick. It's kind of a herringbone print or weave. And I'm just going to cut some 24-inch strips and make some loops instead of ribbon strips. And to do that, I'm just going to bring both pieces to the center and just gather it up like that and just have a loop. And I think that I'll use that canvas on top of that and then add that in. Let's see how that looks. Okay. And we're just going to keep working around the wreath. There's our wreath. After we've added ribbons, we've got ribbons in each twist. Now there's lots of different ways that you can add your ribbon. You can make bows and just put a bow here and there, but this is just one of the easiest ways to do. Next we're going to add our fish. And this fish has a wood look, but it's made out of paper and yarn, and of course it has a hanger on it, but we're going to attach the fish directly to the work wreath frame using some zip ties. To attach your fish, you want to push your curls all to the outside, kind of open up that center, and just position the fish however you want it. You might want it in the dead center, you might want to angle it. I'm going to kind of angle it downward. Now I'm going to flip my wreath over so I can attach it easier. I'm just going to take a zip tie and go through the back of the fish. And put that zip tie through the ring. I'm just going to put a couple of zip ties on before I tighten it. Like maybe one at the top and one at the bottom for right now. Kind of flip it back over and see how that looks. You want to pull those curls out so you don't have any of them caught up under there. I think that's going to be fine. Now I'm just going to go back and just kind of tighten that up a little bit. And then I'm going to take some wire cutters and cut the ends of those zip ties off. And if you feel like you need to secure it in another place or two, you can. Okay, let's get all those curls pulled out. Now we'll straighten our ribbons up when we get finished, but next we want to add in our greenery. And I think I'm going to probably use a couple at the top, and then maybe a couple, you know, kind of at an angle. And this one is a little different. I only have one of it. So I'm going to kind of put it maybe right along in there. And we'll attach them the same way. We're going to flip the wreath over and attach the stem to the work wreath with a zip tie. So I've got my sprays attached at the top. I'm just going to flip it over See how those sprays stick out? I'm going to have to attach those in a couple of places, each spray in a couple of places. And if you have any edges on your zip tie that you think might scratch your wall, you can always kind of turn those to the inside. Make sure that's nice and secure. And you may have to kind of put this on the wall to position everything. Next, we're going to put some kind of opposite of the ones at the top. Put some down at the bottom. Okay. Flip it over. We've got a couple more sprays left. I've got this little single one that I'm just going to kind of put here at the front of the fish. And I'm going to take this last one . This is a ornament from Wreath. It comes in 3 different colors, and it's just styrofoam or plastic, and it's covered in yarn. It doesn't have a hanger or anything. You could insert a floral pick. I'm not sure if this is styrofoam or plastic, but the easiest way to do it would be just to apply a liberal amount of hot glue and just put it in there like that and hot glue it. The last step is just to hang it on the wall and fluff out your ribbons, separate any of your curls that might be stuck together if you use the spray adhesive, and just also remember to check the back of your wreath for any sharp areas that you might need to, like on the zip ties where you need to turn into the inside. I think the spray adhesive does help with the raveling, and it's always better to clip your strings instead of pulling them. If you pull them, you may just generate more strings. The wreath measures about 29 inches in width, and you could always fashion a hanger out of a couple of zip ties. All these supplies came from Trendy, and we hope you'll stop by and visit us. Be sure and follow us on Facebook and Pinterest, and there's a little icon down at the right bottom of your screen where you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We hope you'll follow along with us because we have more tutorials coming out. Okay? Thanks for dropping in. We'll see you next time.